I've taken that girl from age 2, I'll say. I would get her most beautiful dress and anything that was going on out there that I feel that, I thought they can do that. Because I'm a mother, I believe they can do anything.
Ashe.
I would take her for auditions, and she would never come out on top, but she's second all the time. And I do have mixed audiences, and everybody, oh, that girl, she's got it. So I said, I know she's got it. But you have to, you have to instill pride. And on Saturdays, I didn't let them, they had fun, growing up. But we had work to do. I said, no, you're not just going to be Michelle Robinson, You're going to be somebody. And we would go to auditions, no matter what it is. You go in there, I'm not, talking racial or anything like that. But I'm just saying, they're there, and who's second in line? Michelle Robinson. And he would go, and I did the same for my son. When my son was 4, when he was the youngest one in the Negro Actors Guild, he was 4. My child could recite a book, and he could dance. He could do everything. But it was just the way that we were, And sometimes the mothers would, where you going? I said, child, I have work to do.
I'll get it from her. She's
Was you taking it there?
Yes.
Well, I just want to say this.
Hilarious.
That is the best black girl magic right there.
The Lord give to you, because
That's right.
That's beautiful.
what they can do, all they need is your love and help,
Yeah.
You be there for them and cover your shoulders. Don't just, all right.
That's my mother, y'all.
Amazing.
That's the black girl magic right there.
In regards to
That's the black girl
where do you
magic
go,
right there.
And I love my mother. And so obviously family is very important, having your support. But in addition to that, one thing that she touched on a little bit was faith. And, whatever that is for you, whatever that foundation may be, you want to build on that first. It's one thing to have talent, or to acquire talent. I think, stage performers always like to say, people ask me, well, what do you do? I say, I do what I was meant to do. This is all I know how to do. This is my blessing. And so knowing that that's what I've been gifted with, how do I support that in everything else that I have to deal with? And so my answer to that is faith. And my family they've gone well beyond making sure that that was strengthened, so that as a chocolate little girl, I could walk out in the world knowing that I had something that nobody could take away from me. Whether I finished first or second,
Always second.
really wasn't relevant at the time. Well, I wasn't always second. But there was this foundation that I, felt that was really helpful in navigating in this water, because theater is very difficult.
Absolutely.
And it's time consuming, and it's live, and it's,
Absolutely.
I mean, Allison can really expound on that a lot as well, but, you have that much time to make your impression to get the job.
Right.
So, you can't cut and paste it. It happens right there, right here.
I'm just going to say this really quickly because I am a mother who raised children while being on Broadway pregnant, and I have 2 children, 4 grandchildren, and 2 on the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And let me tell you something. I had children while I was on Broadway as a dancer, and there are 3 things that I dealt with in order to be able to keep going. It was purpose for me. Michelle touched on faith, but my belief. I believed in myself so much that I instilled it in my children. And also what Ms. Robinson said, my mother, she raised me, all my sisters and brothers, and she said, you're all different flowers in God's garden. And that's all I knew.
Yes.
So we didn't deal with color, you're black, you're white, you're green. We dealt with, we're all beautiful, we're different flowers. I'm a morning glory, what are you? You're a rose. You know, so that's how, and so I instill those kind of things in my children. But being on Broadway and having children while on Broadway, and doing it live and going home and breastfeeding and making dinner and doing homework and going to parent-teachers conference and getting up in the morning and being a wife and then, you know, cooking dinner and going to school and taking a dance class and, you know, going to fittings and rehearsals and all of that. You have to have a strong, firm belief and purpose. And for me, I had a purpose. And my purpose, I confidently want to say that my prayer is that I can blaze a trail and be an antidote or welcome those that have a dream for their career.
Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. Anybody else want to?
I just wanted to say one thing, and especially to the young mothers going through what some of us have already been through. But it also comes down to choices. And you have to make choices, especially in this industry. We make choices whether to go to that hotel room or not. And some of us did, and some of us didn't. They're laughing because they know. You make choices to keep that day job because you need to. You make choices to become a mother or a wife as opposed to maybe focusing all on your career. So, and it helps when you can hear stories like theirs and understand that you can do it. You know, you don't have to be one or the other, but you can do it. But choices are very important, and we all are confronted with them. And as you go on as young filmmakers and get your work out there, the choices become very difficult. But if you know what's important to you when you start this business, if it's faith, if it's your passion, if it's your family, you keep that with you.
I want to talk, I know we're running short on time. Gosh, this conversation was just about to, like.
Yeah, we're okay.
We're okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to use the mic for this one because I'm going to talk statistics. And I want your knee-jerk reaction to what I share. And what does that mean to you as a black woman producing some black girl magic art, whether it's film or whether it's theater? There was a total of 109 film directors. That's a full 92.7% were male for the top 100 films in 2017. So top 100 films, 2017, 109 film directors because of partnerships, I'm sure. 92.7% were male. 7.3% were female. So that means only 8 out of the 109 film directors were female. So 6 or 5.5% of those directors were black. And that's overall, male and female. So this overall percentage is 7.8% below our consensus here in the United States. So that's of black directors, 5 of those were male and 1 were female. So top of grossing 100 films in 2017, 68%, so these are for my actresses, 68% of all female characters were white, 16% were black, 7% were Latina, 7% were Asian, and 2% were ambiguous. Right. Knee-jerk reaction. What does that mean to you as you create? Who wants to grab the mic and talk about?
It means you still got a lot of work to do.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, we still have a lot of work to do, but I think, again, you can be depressed by those numbers.
It's overwhelming. It's sad in my heart.
You can.
Yeah.
But there's some other numbers, and I think that, you know, any of us, especially those of us who are mothers and grandmothers, we know it was hard on Broadway. It's hard getting that job. I know that, and it's hard keeping it. But we can't let those numbers blind us. You know, we gotta keep going.
That's right.
I think when I kept on emphasizing on representation, it's not only about, okay, I'm not just like a black woman, I'm also a black woman who's from Haiti, who speak with an accent.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when I watch films, I don't see that.
Yeah.
So I want to create content that show that, because we have to normalize accent, different people
Right.
that look like us but may have different backgrounds. And for me, it's like a lot of time when I'm on set, if I work on projects, people who do photography happen to be males. I remember when I used to freelance for newspapers, I'll show up, they'll think I'm a reporter. Nothing wrong with being a reporter,
Right.
but they will dismiss me completely because most of the people who cover news as photographers are male. So that mattered to me, which is the reason why I'm so inspired right now
Right.
to put work, to put effort in becoming director of photography. A lot of times on set, the person behind the camera is not a woman.
Yeah.
So it really, to me, it's like the time for me to like go for it.
I want to put a pin in that comment that you say there, because I want to get to that about the other positions that are out there
Yes.
for creating film and for creating television. That's a whole nother conversation I wanted to touch on, but you wanted to say something real quick.
Yes, I'm going to say something really quick, because the numbers in theater, we try not to pay attention to the numbers, because there's character breakdowns, but usually in a show in the theater, they're looking for the one black female, one black male, but I've had opportunities to go in and look at a breakdown that says, African American female, size 5'7", whatever, and go in or go in on a breakdown where it doesn't say anything and change their mind. So it's you coming out and making a stand and giving quality work, like Michelle said. Come in there and be the best that you can be, because sometimes you can change those numbers by what you produce. And so it's producing the quality. So we know for sure, it's that one black female on Broadway. And so you have to go in there with a mindset that you're going to go in there, because they don't really know what they want. But you have to go in there and make them believe that they want you.
And I'll say this, in 1996, 94, 5, I can't remember now. I attended an audition for the Rockettes, and there were about 700 women in the room.
Oh, wow.
At 9 o'clock, by 6 o'clock, there was 2 of us, and by the following day, I was the chocolate rocket that was selected. So I say that, I say that again to support and piggyback off of what is already being said. Those numbers are, look, it's a man's world. I'm just here to carve my way and hopefully open a door for someone else. And in order for me to do that, I have to believe that I can.
Yes.
So I have to be there, I have to do the best that I can, and at the end of the day, the Lord will take care of it. It's for me to have, no man can take it from me. So that's the thinking when I hear numbers like that. They're just numbers to me, because my life has been a situation of having to deal with those numbers as a dark-skinned woman in the room. And I managed to carve out a career because I believed in myself.
That's right.
So that's how I hear this.
Well, for me, in reference to the statistics that you read, as someone who primarily auditions for television, those numbers actually inspire me, and especially because, I make my own projects, because like the film that I'm working on now, the lead is an Asian character. There are a lot of people who are underrepresented in TV and film, and so instead of being scared by those numbers or depressed, it's really inspiring, because I look at people like Issa Rae, I look at people like Lena Waithe, Regina King, who is developing a TV show for ABC with 5 black women leads, police officers. So it really just excites me, and it just gets me inspired to create more work. And as an actress in this industry, I don't go into any situation feeling like anyone owes me anything, and I know that I have to put my work in. So I'm going to keep auditioning, I'm going to keep writing my own stories, and I'm going to keep creating, because I know eventually, it's going to pay off. It has no choice. So it's inspiring to me, and it just keeps me going.
Go ahead, Shirley. You wanted to grab?
You know what? I just want to say one thing quickly. Is number one, sometimes when you look in the pool and you don't know how deep the water is, you just jump. And then you find yourself swimming. Because sometimes if we don't think about it too much, and the beautiful thing is, I'm looking here and I'm just so proud, like looking up there, look at the work, I mean, of capable, wonderful, talented, amazing women from all different backgrounds, walks of life, ages, you know, colors, everything. And nobody is really saying, I'm not gonna jump. I'm just gonna stay on the side. We're all swimming. And I feel inspired too, and I'm glad I didn't know the numbers though. Because I'm glad I didn't know them really, to tell you the truth. That was a little like, you know. But at the end of the day, like Chantal said, I feel inspired. I feel inspired by looking at this work, and that we're saying we're not gonna wait to get a part. Okay, maybe we're not gonna get the part, then we'll create a part. That's what we're all doing up here. We're creating our own parts for ourselves. So that's it.
Sherry, how much, we're at 3:20, how much more do we have? Because I got like one more question.
Okay,
and I
we can get the one more question.
One more question? Okay. I got one more question for you all.
Blame it on one of the producers.
And this is for you and all of you here who are starting your production agencies and working with different labor unions and houses and production houses. I want to talk about the other women who are behind the camera, the other women that are doing lighting, the other women that are, you know, creating set designs and things of that nature, another male-dominated industry. And I work in live events at times, and I'm producing live events. I'll produce a festival, and every person I talk to, no disrespect, is a white male, right? Like, it's just the reality of it. It's a white male that I have to go through to get a technical director, to get that lighting design the way I want it, or anything of that sort. What's your thought, or what's your responsibility, if any, to include those other women?
I'm so glad you asked that question, because so on our film on Road, and I say our film because Sherry directed it, and my daughter was a videographer. So our set, I mean, so on the first day of shooting, and we shot all of my neighborhood. Chantal's actually in it as well. Wow. And yeah, we don't play around. So we shot all in my neighborhood. And so one day it was like a 15-person crew. And people were like stopping us in the street because it was all women except one male videographer, Yusef. And 50 across generation, across ethnicity, across the gender spectrum. I mean, it was just crazy. You got a young, African-American sister from England doing the boom. Yeah. Her daughter doing the makeup. Her other daughter doing the videography. Her filming. I mean, it was just so incredible to just have this for real Black Girl Magic, to the point where on one day we were almost late to shoot because people literally stopped us in the street. Because when in Bed-Stuy do you see like young Black sisters holding a boom and we're videotaping? Right. So I feel like it's so important because of what it did for me as the screenwriter, what it did for the actors, but also what it did for those people in Bed-Stuy that saw us that day. That was like, what are y'all doing? I'm like, we doing this movie